Alright, so I was working on a totally different video, but I had to put it on pause because after a conversation with a close friend I really wanted to talk about this. These are my personal hallucinations from the past few days, and also the reason why some people experience audible and visible hallucinations when they're either falling asleep or waking up. These are known as hypnagogic hallucinations as you're falling asleep and hypnopompic hallucinations as you're waking up. No more stalling, I'm really excited to get into this topic. So first of all, I'll go through my own experiences with hallucinations. I'll start with the most terrifying one I've had all my life, which happened just days ago before I wrote this script. I went to bed early because I had a tattoo appointment the next morning. I was doing my usual routine, playing YouTube commentary videos as white noise, when I started drifting off, and then suddenly, right in my ear, a woman gasped. I, of course, freaked out, but that quickly faded into irritations once I realized what was happening. This wasn't my first kind of rodeo with hallucinations. That night I had a few more, some were just random noises like something falling in the distance or a deep bass rumble you feel when a car drives up your house on driveway. You know, that low, almost silent engine roar from outside. But I live in the woods, so unless someone was visiting, there shouldn't have been any cars. I also had two visual hallucinations that night. One happened when I was looking at a Christmas star I still haven't taken down from my bedroom window. It started shifting in size, appearing to grow and shrink. And then when I turned my head, right here, while I was turning my head to avoid looking at the window, I saw at the farthest point of my couch a blurry, ghostly figure of a man just sitting there. No details, just a figure. When I brought this up to my friend, he half-jokingly pointed out that it was oddly convenient that I started having these experiences after starting to collect all my macabre, mysterious and paranormal artifacts. But sorry to share your thrills, I don't believe at all these experiences are paranormal. I've had these hallucinations before. For example, the morning after my tattoo appointment I woke up to what sounded like an out-of-tune orchestra playing classical music. It took me some seconds to realize it wasn't real. It was my dad who was downstairs using a blender. A similar thing happened last summer when I woke up to techno music that didn't exist. Now, one of the creepiest hallucinations I've had, well, not as creepy as that gasping woman in my ear, but it made me start sleeping with my curtain shut when I was still living downstairs about 4 years ago. On two separate occasions I can remember, I saw a man in a hat standing in the woods. Only when I was falling asleep or waking up, of course, but he was always there, lurking between the trees. It freaked me out even more when I googled it and found out that a lot of people have seen the same thing, or very similar things at me. Here's what I found. Known as the Hat Man, this tall, dark, featureless entity has been seen in people's bedrooms across the globe, watching over them from a doorway, cupboard, or corner as they drift between sleep and consciousness. His name comes from the wide-brimmed hat victims described him as wearing. And fucking hell, that's creepy. Now granted, the man wasn't in my bedroom, but I swear I saw something very similar in the woods, staring at me. Still, knowing that this is a common hallucination actually brings me some comfort. It's likely just my brain blending reality with dreams during REM sleep. So why does this happen to us? Hypnagogia happens because your brain doesn't just shut off like a light switch when you go to sleep. It powers down in sort of stages. In this weird in-between state, you're not fully awake but not totally asleep either. During this time your brainwaves are shifting from wakefulness to slower, more relaxed states. Your mind is still somewhat active but losing its grip on reality, which is why you might see random shapes and hear strange sounds or even feel like you're falling, which I believe a lot of people have experienced, where you like feel you're falling and suddenly wake up real fast. That's rather common actually. Sometimes in worst cases this can even lead to sleep paralysis or lucid dreams, but don't worry, nothing is wrong with you if you've experienced this. I was a little scared too, thinking I was going schizo, but now we're all good, you know.
We're gonna die tonight.
So now, when we know why this happens and have my personal experiences out of the way, in classic Curse Radiance fashion, here are some creepy hypnagogic hallucination stories I found on Reddit. I was recovering at home from an amputation of my leg due to a history of cancer, and in a dream I raised one of my arms. As I did so, I started to wake up. Though my arm was under the cover, I thought I could still feel it in the air from the dream. I freaked out, thinking the surgeons had amputated my arm instead of my leg. Pain medication were probably at fault, but damn, that's terrifying. I heard a young woman scream at me, "I need you to stop." Bitch, stop what? Sleeping? That last part cracked me up a little bit, but I can't imagine how horrifying that must have been in the moment, you know. Now the final story here is a little more sleep paralysis than Hypnagogia, but it's definitely the most terrifying of the bunch. I woke up and realized I was holding hands so tight with someone that it hurt. I looked over and saw a possessed girl. As soon as I saw her, she started screaming really loud. I couldn't move and couldn't make noise, just had to wait it out. Again, that was more like sleep paralysis, but you know, Hypnagogia is basically a more... No, the opposite. But you know, sleep paralysis is actually like a more intense version of Hypnagogia, so it kinda blurs the line a little bit. I wanted to throw a little theory I came up with before I end the video, and that would be that Hypnagogia and sleep paralysis can actually explain many ghost encounters people claim to have. I mean, think about it, almost all ghost sightings happen at night. When was the last time you heard of a demon terrorizing an ice cream kiosk on a warm summer day? Exactly. If you're already prone to believing in the paranormal, having a hypnagogic hallucinations, especially if you're slightly afraid before going to sleep, might make you attribute it to ghosts rather than your brain playing tricks on you. Like if you remember my ghostly figure on the couch or the man in the woods, someone who believes in ghosts would probably swear those were paranormal encounters. Well, but to me it's just explainable hallucinations as my brain transfer between wakefulness and REM sleep. Now I know this channel covers paranormal stuff sometimes, and I don't want to ruin the mystery for you. But I also won't lie or exaggerate just for engagement either. I'll give you the thrills, but also the facts. If that's not your vibe, go watch some dorky campfire stories or something. Anyways, that was the end of the video. You know the drill, like and subscribe and all that if you enjoy creepy and mysterious content. If you have a weird, eerie or unexplained story you want to cover, or want me to cover, sorry, drop a comment. I always make time for you guys and hold you all my spooky darlings close to my heart. Well, alright, I've talked long enough. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon.